Well, the Premier League kicked off 2026 with an absolute banger. You had the league leaders Arsenal traveling to Bournemouth, and what we got was just a chaotic five-goal classic that really put their title hopes to the test right away. So we're going to break down exactly what happened and what it all means for the title race. The entire story of this game was pretty much written in the first 15 minutes. Seriously. In the 11th minute, you get this shocking error that just gifts Bournemouth a lead. But then, just 4 minutes later, a moment of pure redemption completely flips the script. This insane start set the tone for a huge Arsenal win, and it's the first of 5 key things we learned from this match. So here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll start with the high stakes of the thriller itself, then zoom in on one player's wild journey from zero to hero. After that, we'll get into the midfield masterclass that really won the game, uncover Arsenal's new secret weapon, and wrap it up with the one big lesson they still need to learn. All right, let's set the scene. This wasn't just any old game. Arsenal rolled into 2026 on top of the league, but Bournemouth turned out to be a super tough first opponent, putting the title favorites under some serious pressure right from the get-go. The final score ended up 3-2 to Arsenal, but, man, they had to fight for it. They had to bounce back from that early blunder they made themselves, and then hang on after a late stunner from Bournemouth. This was a massive result, though. It kept them right at the top of the Premier League table. Now for what might be the craziest part of the whole match. It's all about one player and his unbelievable 4-minute turnaround. This is how you go from villain to hero in what feels like the blink of an eye. I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's wild. In the 11th minute, the defender, Gabriel, has a total moment of madness. He hits this blind, first-time pass straight to an opponent who, of course, scores. It was a complete gift. But then, get this, just 4 minutes later, it's Gabriel himself who pops up on a set piece to score the equalizer. Incredible. And you really can't overstate how massive that goal was. An away game like this has banana peel written all over it for a team trying to win the league. It's that kind of tricky game you're expected to win, which makes it so easy to slip up. By scoring so fast, Gabriel just took all the pressure off and stopped any kind of panic from setting in. A truly huge moment. So the game is back on track, crisis averted, but who actually stepped up and won it for Arsenal? Well, it all came down to a masterclass in the middle of the pitch from 2 guys in particular, Declan Rice and Martin Ødegaard. You can't really say it any better than this. Declan Rice had been out for a couple of games, but he came back into the team, and his impact was just immediate and immense. He really is, as the quote says, a diamond of a midfielder. And his biggest contribution, it all comes down to this one number, 2. He scored 2 massive goals in the second half that first put Arsenal in the lead, and then gave them the cushion they absolutely needed. But it was so much more than just the goals. I mean, his performance was just all over the place. In the best way possible. He was cleaning up messes, spraying these beautiful passes, and just powering forward with the ball. The home fans were booing him the entire game, and he just responded by completely taking over. And of course, you can't talk about a great midfield performance without mentioning the captain, Martin Ødegaard. He was back to his brilliant best, making the whole attack flow. And his assist for Rice's first goal, that little no-look pass, absolutely world-class. It's simple, really. When Ødegaard plays well, Arsenal play well. This win also showed off a new strength for Arsenal, something they were desperate for last season. It's kind of a secret weapon, and for them, it's a very, very welcomed luxury. And that weapon is squad depth. For years, Arsenal's title challenges have kind of crumbled when key players got hurt or just ran out of gas. Squad depth just means you can swap in high-quality players without the team's level dropping. And finally, that's a reality for this Arsenal team. I mean, just look at the starting lineup in this game. 4 of the 11 players out there weren't even in the squad last season. That's almost a third of the team, which just shows you the impact of their new signings and all the options they have now. So how did that actually help them win this game? Well, it meant their star player, Bukayo Saka, could start on the bench and get a bit of a rest. Then he comes on with fresh legs, and what does he do? He immediately gets an assist for one of Declan Rice's goals. That's a direct line from having good squad depth to winning the match. But even after a huge win like this, there are always things to learn. And our final takeaway is a bit of constructive criticism, an area where Arsenal can definitely still get even better. So here's the thing.
Even though they won and played really well, Arsenal sometimes got a little held back because they weren't direct enough. They spent a bit too much time passing the ball around the box instead of just going for the kill.
And this chart tells you everything you need to know. The vast majority of their possession was this patient, passing game. But where did the goals come from? All three of them were the result of a direct attack. The lesson here is pretty clear. When they decided to attack with real purpose, they were absolutely lethal. So when you put it all together, what have you got? Arsenal showed incredible resilience to come back from a mistake. They have a midfield that can dominate anyone, and they've got this new squad depth that makes them a real force. It kind of leaves us with one last big question. If they can add that killer instinct consistently, what can actually stop this team?